Hey guys, how's it going? I hope everyone is doing well whenever you tune in and see this day or night. So, this is going to be some astrology notes for November 24th this year, 2021, right, through January 2nd of next year, 2022. So, I have been trying to make separate astrology kind of notes videos to see if you guys like that better. So I haven't really heard back either way, but since we do have a fair amount of astrology things happening during this time period, it would probably be too long to put in a regular reading anyway. So I just went ahead and was like, okay, I'm just going to do a separate video. So I did want to say ahead of time too, happy holidays to everyone. Whether you started celebrating Thanksgiving or not. Or whatever your culture is, or your faith or religion, or where you are in the world, I do hope that if you do have some type of winter holiday or celebration, that you enjoy yourself. Okay, so I wanted to say that real quick before I forget. And so yeah, I'm gonna just do this little sound bell, and then we'll get into the astrology notes. Okay. All right. So, um, my sound bell is still packed away somewhere. So not my sound bell, my sound bowl that I normally use is packed away somewhere. Um, so that's why I've been kind of just using this to kind of just do a nice grounding of energy. And I've been using them at the beginning of the reading sometimes when I remember. So anyway, we have lots of notes here. So let's get into it. All right. And I'm just going to set a little timer. Even if we go over, that's all right. So even though today is November 28th, right? The last set of readings ended on the 23rd. Excuse me. So we're going to pick up from that time frame. And I'm going to drink some water here. Sorry about that. And go forward. So starting from November 24th, sorry, not 21st, 24th. But November 21st, right, was the beginning of Sagittarius season. So maybe I said that by accident. Anyway, on November 24th, we have Mercury enters into Sagittarius. So what does Mercury cover? It covers communication, electronics, to name a few. It's going to be entering into fire sign Sagittarius, right? Since we just said it was Sagittarius season. So there could be some communication, electronic kind of themes, that are coinciding with Sagittarius themes of travel, education, wisdom, politics. If you look up Jupiter, it's kind of similar aspects, right? Because Jupiter rules Sagittarius. So I will leave that there, right? Anything that if anything sparks your curiosity, then you can also, look it up further on your own, because if I go in detail the way I want to, we'll never get through this list. All right. So moving forward, on November 27th, we had a last quarter moon, which was yesterday, depending on where you are in the world, right? And then we have on December 1st coming up, Neptune is going direct. So, I forgot to look up how long it's been in retrograde for. I'll just do that really quickly and tell you what. So Neptune rules Pisces. Neptune is about dreams, creative energy, but also illusions, right? We think of the Pisces and the tarot, we think of the moon card. So the moon kind of aspect. So that creativity is there, this dreamy-like quality, this enchanting, magical quality. But then on the more negative side, it could be, more of not seeing things clearly. I always use that coat hanger as an example, right? So if you're looking in a coat hanger at night, it looks like a monster or a person, right? But if you switch on the light, you're like, oh, it's just my coat on the coat hanger, okay? So I would definitely say that Neptune has that, possibility to do that, okay? But it's also about not only creativity, but, go along with that, right? Inspiration. It talks about Neptune being kind of close to Venus, so it's like a higher level of beauty, but it's more on the spiritual level, right, than the physical level of beauty. Dreams, the subconscious, illusions, fantasy, we already talked about, intuition, magic, and enchantment. Okay, so I just want to put here, when did, sorry guys, Neptune go retrograde in 2021. All right. Okay, so it went in retrograde starting this year, 2021, June 21st. I'm sorry, June 25th to December 1st. Okay, so that's what we were leaving off with. Okay, now going forward here, there is a big thing coming up here on December 4th for everybody, right? So we had that lunar eclipse a couple of weeks ago in Taurus. Well, now this is like the sister side to that, okay? So we have a new moon total solar, not lunar, but solar eclipse in Sagittarius, right, which is on December 4th. So it will affect people in different ways, but I always like to say, new moons are, for some people, the time that they like to start their magic, as the moon is the smallest and is slowly growing to the full moon, right? But you can do your magic, you can't talk. Sorry, you can do your magic, your manifestations, your goal setting at any time as long as your intention is there. But some people like to do it, particularly on the new moon. And I tried to look up earlier for you guys if we could see it, depending on since I'm in the US, and I saw something about Georgia maybe being able to see a little bit of it since it's a solar eclipse right during the day at some point. But I just kept talking about Australia, Antarctica, and then I just was like, okay, I'm going to just leave that alone. So if you want to look up, depending on where you are in the world, if you'll be able to see the total solar eclipse on December 4th, you can feel free to do that. All right, and then moving forward here, guys, on December 10th, we have a first quarter moon. Okay, I like to mention all the moon phases, of course, when we talk about astrology and what that's doing, because it affects us, of course. Okay, and then there's kind of 3 days that there's multiple things happening on the same day. So the first one is on December 13th, Mars, which rules, what does Mars rule? Mars is about leadership qualities, creativity, passion, right? But on the negative side or the shadow side, everything has both, right? It's talking about anger and frustrations and a fighting kind of energy. Well, since we're in Sagittarius season, of course, it's going to be entering into fire sign Sagittarius on December 13th, okay? So there could be, again, some Mars themes like coinciding with Sagittarius themes or Jupiter themes if you want to look into it. All right, and then also on December 13th, we have Mercury, right, which is again the ruler of communication and electronics, just to name a few. On December 13th, now it's going to be leaving Sagittarius, Mercury, and entering into Capricorn, even though we won't have Capricorn season, start until, later in December, right? But it kind of starts ahead of time. All right. Now, Mercury again, communication, electronics, coinciding with Capricorn, Saturn themes, right? Saturn rules Capricorn. So responsibilities, getting serious about something, earth, grounding energy. All right. And then on December 18th, we have a full moon in Gemini. All right. And then on December 19th, okay, and this is another day that we have multiple things happening. Venus is now going to go into retrograde, okay? So, of course, Venus deals with themes of beauty, of love, of even some types of justice, right? If you think about Venus rules Libra, right? So think of Libra themes, okay, kind of going backwards since it's going retrograde. So it could be that there's some love, beauty themes around December 19th and moving forward after that that are kind of not at its full strength that it normally has been, the last couple of months or so. And now it's going to be going the reverse. So there could be, more tricky things coming up with that, but it doesn't always have to be negative. All right, retrogrades don't always have to be negative. It could have you going over things from the past in relation to love and beauty themes that maybe you didn't heal all the way or coming up for a second review. All right, and then also on December 19th, we have Chiron going direct. So Chiron is the Greek wounded healer, right? So it talks about our vulnerability, our soft underbelly, right? If you think of an animal, they protect their vital organs from the predators, right? But Chiron is all about like, look at me, look at my vulnerability, look at all my organs, come kill me, attack me, right? But as a metaphor, okay? So when it's going direct, it could be making for everybody, just depending on who is affected, more than others, right? This Chiron energy of healing in the direct motion is a really good thing. So there could be some really nice healing going on, hopefully for all of us, right, towards the end of this year and going into next year even. Okay, and then the next day that has multiple things going on is on December 21st. So we're going to have, first thing is the Winter Solstice. Okay, so that's actually a holiday that I actually celebrate, right? So what is the Winter Solstice? It's the longest day of the year, the last longest day of the year. So after December 21st, we're going to slowly start making the days longer and the night shorter, right? So there's lots of metaphors that you could put with that, right? Of having a rebirth, sacrifice, all sorts of things. Okay, I'm not going to go all the way into it. And I also wanted to say too, as I forgot to mention this earlier, is that I put in the description box below all of these astrology notes that I'm reading to you, and that there's also a link to the website that I'm using it from, since I didn't do it myself, okay? So if you want to look at it later and be like, wait, what was she talking about? Then you can click there if you want. So, so we talked about the Winter Solstice, and then also, and the Winter Solstice isn't necessarily an astrology note for some people. It wasn't on the website, but I put it on here because, it has something to do with how long and short the days are. And so that does affect us too, even if it's not necessarily, the stars or the planets, it's still something that affects us. So that's why I put it on there. But it wasn't on the original website for some reason. All right, and moving forward, also on that day, the asteroid Ceres is going to be retrograding, and it's going to be entering into Taurus while it's going into retrograde. So when I talk about Ceres, I always kind of talk about it, it's very similar energy if you're familiar with the Greek goddess Demeter, right? So it talks about the goddess of fertility, of agriculture, also themes of nourishment, nurturing energy, the mother figure, motherhood, but also in general, it talks about how we love in family relationships. Like, how do we express ourselves, when we're loving people in our family, okay? That's on one side of the Ceres asteroid, okay? On the other side, it's also the grief energy that she holds, okay? So also with Demeter, if you're talking about Demeter or Ceres, they're kind of the same thing, right? One's Roman, one's Greek, or whatever you want to say. Okay, but Ceres basically struck a deal with Pluto because Pluto stole her daughter Persephone. Okay, so when she struck the deal with Pluto, she said, and Pluto's the god of the underworld, right? But she struck a deal with him. So basically, he gets her for half of the year for 6 months. And then Ceres, gets her daughter back for another 6 months. So that's when we kind of talk about, well, not even 6 months, but whatever, half the year, I guess 12 months would be 6 months. That's why we have winter, right? So when she originally was stolen and taken away by Pluto, Ceres cried and was in so much sadness that everything died. Okay, that's why we have kind of the winter time themes. Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to talk about when this happens on the solstice, also on December 21st, right? It's going retrograde. So before it was going forward, now it's going backwards, and it's starting to go backwards in Earth sign Taurus. Okay, so there could be some themes right around fertility, agriculture, um, that motherhood figure. Again, how do we nourish ourselves? What does it mean to nurture ourselves and to nurture others? How do we express love and family relationships? Well, now it's going backwards, and also that grief energy we talked about. But now it's going backwards. So it could be that some of those themes for some of you guys are more blocked energy and not going as smoothly as normal, but not everybody. I always like to say retrogrades aren't always bad. But for some of you guys also with the retrograde, it could be going over some healing, right? When we talked about Chiron earlier, helping you with these issues that maybe in the past weren't all the way healed. So if I just take my phone here and look up real quickly, when was the last time we had the Ceres retrograde? Let's see. Okay, it would be good if I could spell. When was the last time Ceres was in retrograde? Okay, this is not right. Hold on. Okay, now I have a chart I'm looking at. I don't know what the other thing was. So, why is this not? Hold on. Ah, it's so tiny. Okay, I wish I had my almanac with me because that would be a lot more helpful, but why don't I type it a different way? I'll just put Ceres retrograde 2021 or something, or 2020. Oh my gosh, 2020. Ceres retrograde 2020 dates. Oh my goodness, sorry guys. I thought I had everything ready ahead of time, but I guess not. It's making me go through the whole thing on all of them. It's like, can you just tell me? When it's an asteroid and not a planet, they don't get the same attention, I guess. Okay, so last year in 2020, it started on July 7th of last year. But I don't know if it takes a whole year or not. Let's see. I can't remember. So maybe, okay, so maybe it has been, you know what? I have all my notes here too. I don't know why I'm thinking the internet is going to help me right now. I think it was a year ago, but Let's see if I can at least. I might have only my notes from this year, though. Let's see. Yeah, I guess I don't. I started to save them. I wasn't doing that before. Clearly, I should have been. All right, whatever. I guess it doesn't really matter. But it's bugging me. How long does Ceres Retrograde last? Will not tell me. Okay, so I found there's like conflicting things. One of them says on October 8th, it goes retrograde at 12 degrees Gemini, and then it stays into retrograde until January 15th of 2022 next year. But this is saying that it officially starts retrograde on December 21st, but then you know what that probably is? I don't know why they don't write it that way. This is probably the pre-shadow period. So before it goes officially into retrograde on December 21st, it probably started the pre-shadow on October 8th of this year, 2021. Then it started going officially retrograde in December 21st in 2021 of this year, and then it won't officially be gone until January 15th and from its shadow of 2022 next year. Okay. Oh my gosh. I don't know why that was so complicated. What are you doing to me, Ceres? Okay. Let's go forward. The last astrology note for that day is on December 21st. We also have, right, the start of Capricorn season. So the sun enters into Capricorn. And then going forward on December 24th, we have two things happening on that day. The first one is Saturn is going to be squaring Uranus, and Jupiter is going to be quintiling Uranus. So Saturn, again, is that more serious earth energy that we sometimes associate with, right, Taurus energy or Capricorn energy also, since we're talking about Capricorn season. When it squares that Aquarius energy, right? So Uranus rules Aquarius, is the ruler of Aquarius. But, you know, it's also talking about technology, rebellion, innovation, shock value, surprises. When you think of Aquarius energy or Uranus energy, if you have, you know, we all have, like I always say, most of the videos in the beginning, we all have all 12 zodiac signs throughout our chart. So somewhere in your chart, you have some Aquarius in your chart, okay? So when we talk about Aquarius energy or Uranus energy, we're thinking of someone that is very eccentric or eccentric-like energies, right? If it's not necessarily a person or aspect of your own being or someone else's, or just in general, but also Aquariuses are known, right, to be rebellious, to not care what people think, and also they don't want to conform to like what society tells them, okay? So when we talk about this Uranus Aquarius energy, going back to December 24th, when it's going to be squaring Saturn and quintiling Jupiter, it could be, for Jupiter, it's kind of great because on one side, Jupiter is all about expansion and growth and travel and education and wisdom and politics and all that Sagittarius kind of stuff we talked about earlier. So when you pair that with Aquarius energy, it works really nicely, but it's more of a clash at the same time on the same day that you have it squaring Saturn about responsibilities, putting your nose to the grindstone, being grounded, keeping your feet on the ground, not being in, dream world, where Jupiter, Sagittarius, and even Uranus or Aquarius energy is like, yeah, let's go dream. And then Saturn's like, no, we're going to kill your dreams right now. So even though this is only one day, it's going to be felt differently for a lot of people, right? But it is just a particular note. And of course, depending on if you celebrate any winter celebrations or holidays, since this is on December 21st, right, it could be affecting a little bit some of your holiday. And again, we were talking about earlier with the Ceres retrograde, and I got lost on the phone trying to find out all the dates and stuff. That was talking about how do we love our family members? How do we show that we love our family members or lack thereof? But it's in retrograde. And then when you square it with Saturn squaring Uranus or Aquarius, it could be a little bit of friction. But then there's also that Jupiter energy, which is really positive. Okay, so it's just a note. All right, it may affect you, it may not. All right, moving forward, on December 26th, we have the last quarter moon. And then on December 28th, Jupiter is going to be entering into Pisces. So yeah, Jupiter also rules Pisces in some ways. So Pisces, again, is that, kind of Neptunian energy of, the dream world, right? The magic, the intuition, the creativity, all of that. But then on the more shadow side, it's getting lost where you go too far off into the illusions and you have to kind of find a balance there, right? But yeah, it feels like it's going to be some good energy though, because Jupiter, it expands everything that it touches, right? So if you're in that, when Jupiter enters into Pisces, it's going to be expanding those aspects of the Pisces energy or that Neptunian energy, which is about inspiration, right? It's close to Venus, but a little different. So it's a higher level of beauty and a more spiritual level of beauty, not necessarily on the surface, okay? Dreams, the subconscious, illusions, fantasy, intuition, magic, and enchantment. Okay, just to name a few. Okay, and then our last two notes here, if you're still with me, I don't even know what time it is. Oh, I think we're 27 minutes. That's okay. Yes, so we go from December 28th, Jupiter entering into Pisces, to the next astrology note, and the last one is on January 2nd. So Mercury enters into Aquarius. All right, so we're preparing for leaving that Capricorn energy and starting getting some of the Aquarius energy started. So Mercury, again, is communication and electronics, just to name a few. It's going to be entering or coinciding with Aquarius themes. We just talked all about Aquarius and Uranus, so hopefully you're still here with me and you know what I'm talking about. All right, and then the last astrology note here, guys, is on January 2nd, there's a new moon in Capricorn. So we always talk about the moon phases and what's going on there as well. So some people like to do their manifestations or their magic or their goal setting during a new moon when it's the smallest and it looks like a seed, right, as it's slowly growing to the full moon. But it doesn't matter because that's only for some people. You can do your magic, your goal setting, your manifestations at any time. As always, the intention is the most important. So yeah, that is what I have for you. I'm going to take a little bit of a break here, guys, and then I will be back shortly with Sagittarius, since it's still Sagittarius season. But if you want to join me there, that's awesome. And I hope you guys are well, day or night, of course, whenever you tune in and see this. And I hope some of this was helpful for you. Feel free to always let me know in the comments down below if this is something that you guys are into, if you want them back in the general, individual zodiac readings, or if you like it separate. So anyway, you guys have a good holiday season if you celebrate, and I'll see you guys later. All right, bye.